Ryan's childhood sweetheart has androphobia, which makes her extremely resistant to physical contact with men. Yet, he's the only one she doesn't reject, often laughing and playing around with him. She even asked Ryan to help her cure her androphobia. She claimed to envy our happiness and wanted to fall in love too. But her method was to have Ryan help her practice holding hands, hugging, and even kissing. I couldn't accept it, and Ryan blamed me. Chloe can only overcome androphobia by getting used to intimate contact. I'm just helping her with a condition. Why are you so petty-minded? So, I turned around and found a handsome guy with gynophobia. I helped him practice holding hands, hugging, and even kissing with women too. When found out, he rushed over and pulled me away. Oh, so you dare to cheat on me? Unperturbed, I interlaced my fingers with the handsome guy's, then asked, puzzled, how is it that you kissing your childhood sweetheart is treating her androphobia, but me treating someone else's gynophobia is cheating? Ryan, these caramel cookies you bought me last time aren't even finished. Why did you buy so many more? That day, I returned home with a bag of groceries in one hand and a package delivery in the other. The cookies weren't even opened yet, but the corners of my mouth were already sweetly curving upwards. Who knew that as soon as my feet stepped inside, the package in my arms clattered to the floor. On the living room sofa, Ryan was about to kiss his childhood sweetheart, Chloe. Unfortunately, I, the uninvited guest, interrupted them. Chloe instantly stood up in a panic, but a flicker of annoyance at being interrupted crossed her face. Sarah, Ryan, was just helping me with my treatment. Please don't misunderstand. Saying this, she casually pulled out a tissue. We were just practicing, not really kissing. We would put this tissue between us. What tissue? There's nothing secretive between us, it's just normal treatment. Ryan was as calm as a Buddha, only sparing me a glance. Why are you home so early today? It was because I had specifically taken time off work to watch his favorite premiere livestream with him. Before I could answer, he added, go make dinner first. Chloe finds it hard to focus when you're here, and it will affect her treatment. No, wait. Hadn't he promised me that they wouldn't have any further intimate contact beyond holding hands and hugging? Seeing me stand there without moving, Ryan seemed to recall his promise. Oh, based on the previous situation, just holding hands and hugging still doesn't allow her to interact normally with other members of the opposite sex. We decided to try the effect of kissing. Just pretend we're filming a scene, don't be so petty-minded. Filming? They weren't actors. This was just him going back on his word. Suppressing the turmoil in my heart, I retorted sarcastically, so, if kissing doesn't work, are you going to film a sex scene? Chloe quickly waved her hands. Sarah, how could that be? That would be too inappropriate. And kissing is appropriate? What kind of androphobia treatment involves kissing a man who's already taken? Ryan's face turned cold, and he immediately stood up. What do you mean by that? You know Chloe and I have been childhood sweethearts since we were kids, right? If there was anything between us, we would have been together ages ago. Would I have even proposed to you? Proposed? I traced the diamond ring on my right ring finger. A month ago, when Ryan knelt on one knee and placed it on my finger, I thought this playboy was finally settling down. No matter what he was like before, from then on, his heart and soul would belong only to me. But now, it seemed I had misunderstood. Since you don't want to avoid it, we'll go somewhere else for treatment. With that, Ryan pulled Chloe and prepared to leave. I instinctively stepped forward to block them, my voice firm. You're not allowed to kiss any woman other than me, no matter the reason. Chloe's eyes immediately reddened, and her voice was laced with a sob. Ryan, since Sarah minds, let's stop our treatment here. Perhaps someone like me, who has been assaulted, doesn't deserve love or happiness. Saying this, she covered her mouth and ran out. Are you satisfied now? You're forcing Chloe to rake over old wounds again? You haven't been through anything similar, you don't have androphobia, so you have no basic empathy? He pushed me away and hurried after Chloe. Yes, his childhood sweetheart had androphobia. This dated back to when she was 7, when she was assaulted by a neighbor's uncle. Thanks to Ryan's timely discovery, he saved her. That prevented something much worse from happening. Since then, she only trusted Ryan among the opposite sex and only allowed him to touch her. As a woman, I naturally sympathized with her tragic past. But sympathy is one thing, it doesn't mean she can kiss my man. After they left, I took out my tablet and opened an evaluation chart to score Ryan again. I had a chart for him, the left column was 100 points for his appearance, and the right column was for his actions. I would add or deduct points from the right column based on how Ryan treated me. As long as it didn't reach 0, I could endure anything for him. Ryan knew about this chart and had confidently declared that even if I deducted points for a lifetime, the right side would never reach 0. It was my fault too. Every time he was good to me, I added 10 points. When he was bad to me, I only deducted 0.1 points. Just like now, his lips almost betrayed me, yet I was still thinking about the caramel cookies he bought me. As I was debating whether to deduct fewer points, Ryan returned. I haven't even deducted points yet, and you're deducting points again? He snatched the tablet from me, his nostrils flared in anger. If I hadn't seen how open-minded and unfazed you were, would I have ever let you catch me? My petty-minded ex-girlfriends were at least young and beautiful. You're a year older than me and still so plain. Where do you, an older woman, get the nerve to act like them? Older woman? I was only 28. I'd known for a while that he felt I wasn't good enough for him, but before, he'd always said it playfully. To attack me so angrily and directly now was too hurtful, wasn't it? He liked that I was open-minded and unfazed? But that was how I was when I was single. Once in a relationship, I was like many other girls, anxious, insecure. And it served me right. As a plain girl, I shouldn't have dated a handsome guy. Especially one with a string of ex-girlfriends and an ever-present childhood sweetheart. This was karma. If you still care about me, come with me to Chloe's place right now and apologize. What did I do wrong? I'm not apologizing. If you don't go, we're breaking up. It wasn't the first time he had threatened to break up to force me to compromise. Before, it was about trivial matters, and I could always tolerate it. But this time, go, or break up? Hundreds of spittle drops sprayed onto my face at once. The illusion of that handsome face shattered into a million pieces. Then break up. I turned to pack my bags. As I left, Ryan not only didn't try to stop me but also threw out a parting shot. A woman like you, without me, will never find a handsome guy blind enough to want you. Infuriated, I pulled off the ring on my ring finger and threw it hard at him. Without you, I'll only find someone even more handsome. With a rumble, a clap of thunder suddenly echoed in the sky. Ryan couldn't help but sneer. See? Heaven is laughing at your lack of self-awareness. Damn it, if I were a great beauty, would I suck up to him? Now heaven was even helping this narcissist bully me. Where was the justice? But later, I learned that I had misunderstood heaven. That thunderclap was his way of telling me that he had already arranged an absolute hunk for me. I was just blind and hadn't noticed him yet. The next day, as I was training with my student at the boxing gym, the more I thought about yesterday, the more I regretted it. Why did I throw the ring? I should have given that venomous-tongued playboy a good beating. Distracted, I forgot to defend myself and was knocked to the ground by my student, Julian. Are you okay? He quickly came to help me up. I smiled and said I was fine and wanted to continue, but he looked at me seriously. Is something on your mind? Facing the sculptural face, even more handsome than Ryan's, on a whim, I asked, have you ever thought about finding someone to practice holding hands, hugging, and kissing to overcome your barrier to intimate contact with the opposite sex? As luck would have it, Ryan had an androphobic childhood sweetheart, and I had a gynophobic student, Julian. Even more coincidentally, he was also only comfortable with me. When he first came to the boxing gym, he chose a male coach. Later, he liked my boxing style and switched to me. At first, I didn't know. Every time I physically guided his movements, he would frown and pull away. He would also specifically remind me to keep my distance. He would stay as far away as possible from other members of the opposite sex in the gym. Later, he told me he had gynophobia. As a top-tier handsome guy who wasn't interested in women, everyone couldn't help but sigh, thinking it was such a pity. But at some point, he seemed less resistant to me. Yet, he remained the same towards others of the opposite sex. I guessed he probably didn't see me as a woman. After all, I have short hair, a somewhat neutral look, I'm usually boisterous, and I box harder than most men. Practice, kissing? Julian looked confused. I immediately realized the question was odd. I quickly said I was talking nonsense, but he looked thoughtful and didn't press further. After settling into my new place, I had planned to go to Ryan's place to pack up my remaining belongings. Who knew that jerk had changed the keypad lock password? I called him to ask him to mail my things to me, but instead, he came to the boxing gym. In the 3 years we dated, he rarely came here. Before, when I asked him to pick me up from work, he always made excuses. It was either overtime or social engagements, and he'd make me drive to pick him up. I just thought he was dependent on me, and I quietly accepted it. When he arrived today, he even brought my favorite afternoon snack, as if to make amends. I couldn't help but feel a sliver of hope. Was he here to apologize? But as soon as he entered the locker room, he reached out and squeezed my bicep. Sarah, look at your muscles, so manly. Why are you acting all dramatic like a little girl? It doesn't suit you at all. I'd told him a million times I hated that address. It sounded like he was calling me an older woman working in some government office, but he insisted it was a term of endearment. I was too lazy to correct him again and smacked his hand away. Just say what you need to say. Chloe. Oh, right, his childhood sweetheart was even 2 years older than Ryan. But he never called her Chloe just because she was soft, charming, and pretty. After learning we had a falling out, she hasn't been able to eat or sleep for days. She's been blaming herself for making you angry, and her androphobia has gotten worse. Now she even rejects me. This manipulative act, this older woman, will never understand. Tonight, let's have dinner together. You can explain to her that our argument had nothing to do with her. Tell her that you were petty-minded for refusing my kissing treatment, and you won't do it again. This time, I won't hold your tantrum against you, okay? Damn it, he came all the way to my turf just to make me apologize? And to make me willingly be a cuckold? No. First, we didn't just argue, we broke up. Second, get lost right now. From now on, even if you two have sex as treatment, it has nothing to do with me. Ryan's smile instantly froze, replaced by annoyance. Are you done? You wouldn't think just because I proposed to you, you can start taking advantage of my kindness, would you? Kindness? What do I have to be arrogant about? He gives me a few trivial gestures and thinks he's been so good to me? Gritting my teeth, I raised my clenched fist. Are you leaving or not? Ryan flinched back immediately. Fine, you tomboy. I'm giving you a way out, don't come crying later. Before he slammed the door and left, a figure flashed past the doorway. I didn't see clearly who it was. Near closing time, Julian, surprisingly, invited me to dinner after work. I need your help with something. I wasn't really in the mood, but I remembered his membership renewal was coming up soon. Aiming to boost my numbers and retain loyal clients, I went. It was the most expensive upscale restaurant in the city, and he had even rented out the entire place. I vaguely knew he was rich, but what kind of help required renting out a whole place? What a waste. He smiled and said he'd tell me after I finished eating, but my impatient nature kept asking. As a result, my grumbling stomach instantly fell silent. I'd like to ask you to help me with my gynophobia. I'm sorry, I unintentionally overheard you and your boyfriend breaking up today. I hope this request doesn't cause you any trouble. Then, he explained his reasons for seeking my help. Firstly, because he had gynophobia, many people misunderstood him as gay, which greatly troubled him. Secondly, he was also reaching marriageable age and wanted to start a family. At this stage, besides you, I can't find anyone else of the opposite sex that I don't reject. I want you to help me adapt more to interacting with the opposite sex, so I can date in the future. After speaking, he also offered me an irresistible offer that was more than enough for me to retire on the spot. Plus, with that face, who wouldn't be tempted? But then, Chloe came to mind again. I thought Julian was going to be like her, and a wave of disgust immediately washed over me. What, you also want me to hold hands, hug, and kiss you? Can money really let you do anything you want? What do you take me for? I sprang up to leave, but he quickly grabbed me. You misunderstood me. The next second, he quickly let go. I just want you to have more meals with me, chat, and go for walks. What you mentioned, that's only for boyfriends and girlfriends. Besides, if I dared to cross the line, I'd probably get punched across the room by Coach, wouldn't I? It was rare for him to joke, and his expression was so serious that it made me laugh. The unpleasantness Ryan caused earlier that day also vanished. Right, it was a sure win deal. What reason did I have to refuse? The next day, Ryan called again. He told me to go back and get my remaining belongings, or he would throw them all out like trash. I went, and unsurprisingly, Chloe was also there. Ryan used to invite her over every now and then. Now, she had completely taken on the air of a hostess, busy brewing coffee for me. Sarah, I don't want you and Ryan to fight. Can we talk again? I ignored her and went straight to pack my luggage. But then, on the floor by the bed in the bedroom, lay a used condom. Sure enough, this treatment had moved to the bedroom. Even though I was mentally prepared, my chest was hit by a sudden, dull blow. After recovering for a while, I pretended I saw nothing and walked out. As I passed the two of them, I didn't stop, but suddenly pulled Chloe onto his lap, and my steps involuntarily paused. If I lose one girlfriend, I can always find another, but Chloe, you'll always be my best friend. From now on, no one will ever obstruct me from helping you with your treatment again. With that, he kissed the person in his arms. It was passionate and fierce, and utterly blinding. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to pull my feet away and walk out the door. As soon as I stepped outside, I heard something shatter inside. TSK, TSK, that was quite a passionate kiss. If he lost a girlfriend, he could find a new one. If I lost a handsome guy, I could find a new one too. And an even handsomer one. Then, I wiped the corner of my eye and officially began my date-like treatment with Julian. That day, as we were shopping, a skateboarder sped past us from behind. Watch out. Before I could react, Julian extended his long arm and pulled me into his embrace. Are you okay? His deep voice, his profound eyes, and his firm chest. All of them overflowed with endless tenderness. It was something I had never experienced with Ryan. I instinctively stood on my tiptoes, and my hands hooked around his neck. Julian froze instantly, his long eyelashes trembling nervously, but he didn't push me away. He even closed his eyes, as if indulging me. Just as I was uncontrollably about to kiss him, a brute force suddenly pulled me away. Sarah, how dare you cheat on me? It was Ryan, with Chloe following behind him. I instantly sobered up, then regained my composure. I fiercely shook him off, unsure if Julian would be willing. I went straight to him and took his hand, interlacing my fingers with his. To my surprise, he squeezed my hand back tightly. My heart steadied, and I looked at Ryan, feigning confusion. How is it that you kissing your childhood sweetheart is treating her androphobia, but me treating someone else's gynophobia is cheating? Gynophobia? Hearing this, Ryan's gaze finally shifted to the person beside me, and his eyes widened abruptly. Mr. Julian, why are you here? Mr. Julian? Only then did I realize that Julian was actually the general manager of Ryan's company. Ryan quickly and respectfully gave a brief introduction of himself. Mr. Julian, how do you two know each other? Julian, however, had no intention of explaining to him. As far as I know, Sarah has already broken up with you. How can this be cheating? Sarah? Why wasn't he calling me coach anymore? Ryan looked astonished. Break up? Mr. Julian, you misunderstood. My girlfriend and I just had a little spat. Please excuse us. She offended you. I'll apologize to you personally later. Saying this, he tried to pull me away. I shook him off again. Who had a spat with you? Don't forget, you were the one who suggested breaking up, and I agreed. I gave you a choice. You never took me seriously before, and besides, I didn't agree. Julian then took a step forward, his previous gentleness replaced by authority. Mr. Ryan, if one party says they're breaking up, then they're broken up. Please show some self-respect. Chloe, who had been observing quietly, subtly leaned towards Ryan and whispered to persuade him, Ryan, I guess Sarah might have already climbed the social ladder behind your back. You shouldn't make things difficult for yourself. At that moment, I didn't realize this manipulative act was deliberately provoking me. On impulse, I wanted to go up and punch her. Julian, however, gently pulled my hand, as if to soothe me. Miss, some things you say need evidence, otherwise it's slander. Would you like to talk to my lawyer? Ryan, she tugged at Ryan's sleeve, seeking help. Ryan, having no choice, quickly forced a smile at Julian. I'm sorry, Mr. Julian, she's a bit loose-tongued. Please don't hold it against her. Then, he glared at me angrily, hastily pulled Chloe, and left. Thank you for backing me up earlier. Afterwards, when I tried to pull my hand, which Julian had been holding, he reacted and quickly let go. His ears instantly turned red, and he stammered. I'm sorry, I was out of line. Thinking about how I almost kissed him just now, I also felt a bit awkward. To lighten the mood, I casually teased him, you're so shy. If you ever date, you'll easily be tricked by bad women. I don't know what kind of thought process he had, but he replied, are you a bad woman? Me? If I were a bad woman, would I have suffered so much in my last relationship? Then do you think I am? He looked at me searchingly, with a different feeling in his gaze that was even more intense than the tenderness from before. My heart pounded like a drum, and I quickly changed the subject. It's dinner time. I know a super great local diner. Come on, my treat today. Before we parted ways that day, we both had a tacit understanding not to continue that topic. That night, when I returned to my new place in the apartment complex, Ryan was actually waiting for me at the main gate. His first words were presumptuous. Are you trying to use my boss to get back at me? Just because I helped Chloe with her treatment? I ignored him and was about to go inside, but he grabbed me again. You think he's looking for you to cure his gynophobia? He's just tired of dating pretty, wealthy women and is fooling around with a plain Jane like you for a change. Even after breaking up, he was still belittling me. I'm the one who wants a stable life with you. Him, stable? I was immediately amused. Ryan, we've broken up. Stop saying such self-righteous things. I knew very well that the only reason he proposed to me was that, compared to his previous girlfriends, I was the easiest and least troublesome. I wasn't delicate or dramatic, I was independent and strong, and I could take care of his every need. In plain terms, he treated me like a personal caretaker who wasn't a nagging mom. At the time, for the sake of that face, I just fooled myself into pretending not to know. Now, there was no need. Exposed, Ryan looked flustered and guilty, yet he remained stubborn. You're just making excuses for cheating. Don't say I didn't warn you. When gets tired of playing with you and dumps you, you'll be crying then. He angrily pulled off our couple's rings and was about to throw them at my face. I tilted my head, and the rings fell to the ground. I bent down to pick them up, then threw them into a nearby trash can. Ash should go in the trash can, you have no public etiquette. I turned and walked into the apartment complex gate. Ryan was blocked by the access control and yelled angrily. Sarah, you'll regret this. This man, just after yelling that I would regret it, immediately turned into a stalker. Later, whenever Julian and I went on dates, he would secretly spy on us nearby. I saw him but pretended not to, laughing and enjoying myself with the person beside me. We ate ice cream together, had fun at the amusement park together, took selfies together. Aside from intimate physical contact, everything else was no different from a couple in love. One day, we were at a game booth that gave out prizes for a staring contest. Some mischievous child bumped Julian, and he lost his balance, falling into a kiss with me. To be precise, he bumped into my mouth. The onlookers immediately erupted in cheers and whistles. After a brief moment of freezing, Julian, as if he'd touched hot tofu, suddenly backed away several steps. Then he turned and ran. When I caught up to try and check on him, he suddenly held up his hand. Don't come near me. Unlike the last time when his ears were just red, this time his face was hollow. Cold sweat beaded on his forehead, even in the middle of winter. Obvious fear and repulsion, like a somatization reaction. I'm sorry. He tried to explain something, but ultimately turned and fled from the amusement park in a panic. See? What did I tell you? How could a tall, rich, handsome guy like him be interested in you? At that moment, Ryan suddenly appeared behind me like a ghost. Last time he closed his eyes and still didn't kiss you, and this time he just barely touched you and ran. Gynophobia? I think he just finds you unattractive. After all, you're too plain. I unceremoniously kicked him in the shin. Yes, and you've kissed women like me plenty of times. It seems you're not only blind but also desperate. Soon after that day, a piece of gossip said. Unly spread through the boxing gym. It said Julian suffered from gynophobia because he was assaulted by a woman when he was a child, leaving him with psychological trauma. Yet, he acted as if nothing had happened, still coming to the boxing gym to train every day. He seemed to completely disregard the rumors. Don't take it seriously. Those people are just gossiping nonsense, with nothing better to do. They're just jealous because you're too handsome. After hearing that, Julian gave a bitter smile. If it were really for the reason they said, I wouldn't be suffering to this day. It wasn't because of that? Then what was it? Seeing that he didn't say more, I didn't press further. Afterwards, I also pretended to be gossiping and managed to trace the source from a student at the boxing gym. The rumor about Julian originated from a local gossip group chat. After tracing the source, I finally pinpointed the origin in another social group. It was a post Ryan made using a burner account. He claimed to be Julian's close friend and started leaking information, fabricating and heavily doctoring chat logs with Julian. In them, the topic of assault was mentioned. Julian expressed that he hadn't moved on from the incident. Ryan even offered him various words of comfort. After saving all the evidence, I called Ryan out. He thought I had grown disgusted with Julian, and as soon as we met, he began to disparage and slander his boss. Let me tell you, a rich kid like him, after an experience like that, is definitely psychologically damaged when they grow up. Who knows what deviant behavior he might commit in the future. It's good you finally came to your senses. As long as you apologize to me, I can stop holding your nonsense against you for this period. I scoffed. Apologize to you? Then, I punched him in the face. Just then, Julian walked over carrying 3 cups of coffee. He smiled and placed one in front of Ryan, then sat down next to me. Mr. Ryan, this one's on me. Only then did Ryan realize that I hadn't called him out to reconcile. You should be apologizing to him. Julian clutched one side of his face in pain, still playing dumb, and falsely accusing me in return. What did I say wrong? Why should I apologize? You hit me and tried to suck up to him just to climb this social ladder. Why are you so materialistic? I aimed at his other cheek and punched him again. Then I threw down the photos of the chat logs he posted using his burner account, along with the expert analysis confirming image manipulation. It seems your feelings for your childhood sweetheart aren't that deep after all. Spreading rumors about others by attaching her tragic past to them. I never realized how shameless you were. It seems I was even more blind than you. Ryan clutched his rapidly swelling face, momentarily stunned. After a moment, he frantically apologized to his boss. Mr. Julian, I was drunk at the time. My head was fuzzy, and I made a mistake. Please, as a great man, don't hold a grudge against a petty one like me. His usual arrogance vanished, replaced only by pitiful pleading. Unexpectedly, Julian was quite cunning, not only harming him but crushing his spirit. Given that you're Sarah's ex-boyfriend, I won't sue you. But as a small lesson, starting tomorrow, you don't need to come to the company. Your actions this time are enough to prove that you are far from good enough for Sarah. Ryan looked unwilling, but he didn't dare to protest further, fearing he would get sued. To my surprise, having just lost his job, instead of looking for work, he turned around and proposed to his childhood sweetheart. He even sent me a video of his successful proposal. Subsequently, Chloe also posted the video on her social media post, with a quite meaningful caption, "After all the detours, it's still you." From childhood sweethearts to lovers, everyone else was just a fleeting moment. Only we are our eternal sanctuary. After reading it, I, the fleeting moment, smiled slightly and replied with 2 words, treating them equally, "Congratulations." I didn't block and delete them afterward. After all, as a single woman, I'm completely unfazed. Who knew? That very night Ryan successfully proposed, I unexpectedly saw his childhood sweetheart kissing a strange man and entering a hotel. Didn't she have androphobia and only tolerate Ryan's touch? How interesting. I immediately took a few photos and sent them to Ryan. He didn't reply to me. But the next morning, Chloe angrily ran to the boxing gym to confront me. That man is my friend. What were your intentions taking those photos? You're wanting to have your cake and eat it too, and you can't stand to see Ryan and me happy. How shameless can you be? Saying this, she raised her hand to hit me. Before I could react, Ryan, who had arrived, grabbed her and slapped her across the face. Chloe, you have the nerve to insult Sarah? Sarah? Chloe looked at Ryan in disbelief, then roared, "Don't forget, you just proposed to me. We've already broken up." Amidst angry retort, I learned that Chloe didn't have androphobia at all, nor was she single. She had been lying to Ryan all along. She had been secretly seeing casual partners for a long time. Do you think I wanted to find other people? It's all because you were disgusted by my tragic past. You dated countless girlfriends but never wanted to be with me. I even offered myself to you, and you still didn't want me, so, that used condom I saw last time was part of Chloe's act. But that didn't change the fact that Ryan's mouth was tainted. I wasn't disgusted with you. I just saw you as a sister. You misunderstood. A fine sister, indeed. He accepted all her kisses, hugs, and intimate treatments without question. Then he turned around and said others misunderstood. I used to think Chloe was cunning, but I never expected Ryan to be just as shrewd. Sister? More like a tool, if you ask me. She's already climbed the social ladder and found a tall, rich, handsome guy, and you're still using me as a tool to put on a show and propose to upset her? How despicable are you? You, suddenly exposed. Ryan's face instantly flushed red. I was too lazy to watch them argue and turned to go back to work at the boxing gym, but quickly stepped up to stop me. Sarah, I know you still care about me, otherwise, you wouldn't have sent me those photos. I won't have anything to do with Chloe ever again. Let's start over. You jerk. Chloe punched Ryan fiercely in anger, then covered her mouth and ran off. He didn't even glance at her, much less chase her. He just looked at me nervously, awaiting my answer. And all I wanted to do was roll my eyes. I sent you those photos because I found them amusing, nothing more. If you overthink it, you're just flattering yourself. I don't believe it. You're just saying one thing and meaning another. As he was about to pester me further, Julian suddenly came from behind and pulled me into his arms. Mr. Ryan, I'm warning you for the last time, stay away from my girlfriend. Otherwise, I won't be so polite. My girlfriend? Just as I was utterly astonished, inside a car not far away, a camera was furiously snapping photos of the 3 of us. After scurried away, I once again thanked Julian for defending me. Actually, you don't have to lie and say I'm your girlfriend to help me. Ryan can't do anything to me. but he just looked at me, his eyes filled with anxiety and apprehension. I wasn't lying. I like you. I liked you even before you broke up with him. Asking you to help me with my gynophobia was also so I could be normal and date you. From beginning to end, you're the only one I've ever liked. He spoke rapidly, and after blurting everything out, I could see his chest heaving. Normally, I'd just be infatuated, and all sorts of inner monologues about wanting to run my hands over him would play out. But now, I was just flustered and at a loss. If I used to only feel self-conscious about my appearance when facing Ryan, now, facing Julian, I felt utterly inadequate. His external qualities were top-notch, yet he lacked any of Ryan's arrogance and narcissism. Even if I told myself I had many good qualities, I still couldn't help but feel that I wasn't good enough. Mr. Julian, I really appreciate your feelings for me, but, I'm sorry, we're not very compatible. Before I could finish, disappointment had already spread across his face. I was about to explain that it wasn't about him when his phone suddenly rang. I accidentally glimpsed the incoming call. Chairman. It was his mother. He stepped away from me to answer the call. I don't know what was said on the other end, but he started having an episode again. His face was as white as a sheet, cold sweat beaded on his forehead, and this time, he was trembling uncontrollably, his legs gave out, and he simply collapsed to the floor. I couldn't help myself and immediately ran to his side, crouching down. Do you want me to call a doctor for you? Just as I was about to help him up, he yelled, Don't touch me. He slapped my hand away. I'm sorry. Just like last time, after a hurried glance at me, he quickly got up and fled again. For the next few days, Julian didn't come to the boxing gym, nor did he call me. I wanted to check on him, but was afraid of disturbing him. I didn't know what to do. I was more distraught than when I was first pursuing Ryan, text messages, and calls. And just then, Chairman surprisingly found me. As soon as we met, she threw a few photos down. They were photos of Ryan at the boxing gym bothering me that day, and Chloe was also in them. My son is very innocent, and he doesn't belong in the same world as someone with your messy relationships. Stay away from him. After saying that, she threw a check at me. I really didn't expect it. I don't even have Cinderella's looks, nor have I had any significant interaction with Prince. Yet I was still experiencing the plot of a wealthy matriarch trying to buy me off. Chairman, I just want to ask, is he doing okay recently? That's all I want to know. That's not something an outsider like you is qualified to know. An outsider? I had originally held some respect for her. Seeing her so overbearing actually stirred up my rebellious streak. Ma'am, first, I am his coach, second, I am his friend. Even if you are his mother, you have no right to deprive him of his right to make friends. And you certainly have no right to prevent me from caring for my friend. She was instantly speechless with anger, and before she could continue to humiliate me, I politely excused myself. Another week and more passed, and I still had no news from Julian. He didn't reply to any of my messages. I even went to his company building, wanting to see if he was alright. But only when I got there did I realize he hadn't been to the company at all during this period. What happened to you? Please just call me back. For the first time, I was this worried sick about him. And wouldn't you know it, Ryan came to bother me again. This time, he even held another proposal ceremony in front of my colleagues at the boxing gym. Sarah, for the rest of my life, my heart and soul will belong to you alone. If I ever go against this vow, may I be struck by lightning and suffer a terrible death. Facing his kneeling on one knee and an even bigger, more dazzling diamond ring again, I no longer felt the excitement and happiness of last time. Instead, my mind was entirely filled with Julian. While I was lost in thought about him, Ryan had already slipped the ring onto my ring finger. Just as I reacted, out of the corner of my eye, a familiar figure flashed by the doorway. It was Julian. Without thinking, I abandoned Ryan and ran after him. When did you get here? I hastily grabbed Julian, but remembering his earlier resistance, I quickly let go again. When I noticed his gaunt and drawn face, my joy instantly turned to worry. I subconsciously reached out my hand, wanting to touch his face. But just as I was about to touch him, I hesitated and pulled my hand back. Have you eaten? I'll treat you to a meal. Julian didn't answer. His gaze merely followed the diamond ring on my hand. I quickly took it off, my first reaction being fear that he would misunderstand. Oh, I didn't accept his proposal. I was just thinking about you. I was so distracted I didn't even notice it being slipped on. Thinking about me? His eyes instantly lit up, but also held a hint of doubt. At that moment, I only wanted to be true to my feelings and nodded very affirmingly. Yes, I've been thinking about you a lot lately, every moment. When we met again this time, Julian found a quiet cafe. After hesitating for a long while, he revealed everything to me about the origin of his gynophobia. I'm sorry, I've never told anyone about this, and I was afraid to tell you. It's okay. You don't have to talk about it, as long as you're alright. No, I don't want to run away anymore. Only then did I learn that as a child, he had witnessed his mother had an affair, being intimate with her lover at home. He was only 6 years old then and just felt that what his mother was doing was wrong. He immediately called his father. By the time his father rushed home, her lover had just pulled up his pants and was coming out of their bedroom. A few days after this incident, his father hanged himself. Since then, every time he had intimate contact with a girl, he would recall the scene of his mother and her lover being intimate that he saw through the door crack. This would be followed by feeling nauseated, like throwing up, and self-loathing. Self-loathing? I killed my father. He kept thinking, if he hadn't made that phone call that day, if he had pretended not to know anything, his father wouldn't have known his mother had an affair, and he wouldn't have hanged himself. To this day, his mother also blames him in the same way. I had never experienced anything similar, and although I wanted to comfort him at that moment, I felt that anything I said would be hollow. After much thought, I just tried asking, do you want to go boxing? How about we try a different boxing gym today for a change of pace? He understood what I meant and smiled, okay. When we were both exhausted and lying on the floor, gasping for breath, I slowly began to speak. If I were you as a child, I don't think I would have done any better. You must have felt helpless and panicked then, which is why you wanted to find your dad for support. Your dad didn't leave because of you, but because your mom hurt him, and your mom also hurt you. You're a victim too. Long after I finished speaking, he remained silent. When I turned my head again, I saw a single tear had already streamed down his face. I slowly sat up and opened my arms to him. Can I have a hug? I've liked your pecs for a long time. Name your price, I can pay you with the salary you paid me before. He chuckled and then burst out laughing. As his arms wrapped around me, his chin rested on my shoulder, and he softly said, Sarah, thank you. It wasn't I like you, nor I love you. But in that moment, my heart skipped a beat. At the same time, I also felt his heart matching my rhythm, beating faster and faster. We instinctively released our embrace and gazed intently at each other. He slowly leaned closer, and I instinctively closed my eyes. When his warm breath was almost on my lips, he suddenly asked, is this considered therapy now? I didn't answer, but eagerly kissed him first, pulling back a moment later. Doctors don't kiss their patients. As soon as I spoke, his passionate kiss overwhelmed me, lingering and fierce. The next morning, Julian drove me to Ryan's place. I returned the engagement ring to him. He glanced at Julian's Porsche not far away. Does he think dating a rich second-generation guy like that is just between the two of you? His mother will absolutely never accept an ordinary daughter-in-law like you. You two can't possibly get married. So this is what it felt like to completely let go of someone. No matter how much he belittled or mocked me now, I didn't care anymore. After 3 years of dating, he really didn't know me. If I want to love someone, have I ever cared about what others think? Ryan, back then, all my friends said you were a playboy and strongly opposed our relationship, but I still chose you. Do you know why? He suddenly froze and tentatively replied, you liked me too much. He was still such a narcissist. I smiled and shook my head. Because once, in your eyes, I also saw your affection. I thought that as long as I tried hard enough, he would like me more and more. But later, I realized his affection for me only went so far. He was too promiscuous, he could never be devoted. As for his current plea for reconciliation, it was just because he was used to me loving him so much and couldn't immediately adjust to the absence. I understand now that true love isn't something you earn through effort, but rather through mutual attraction and closeness. No, that's not it, Sarah, I love you. You made me feel too secure. I was an idiot who didn't appreciate you, thinking you'd never leave no matter what. Please, give me another chance, I'll never make the same mistake again. Seeing my calm face and composed demeanor, he was almost in tears. Just then, Julian called, asking what I wanted for dinner and saying he'd go grocery shopping. Salt-baked shrimp, sweet and sour pork ribs, and stir-fried green beans. I can make them for you too, Sarah. I've learned a lot of dishes recently. I'm really trying to change. Ryan quickly tried to win me over, even kneeling down. He used to be very concerned about his image, but now he completely disregarded the stares of passers-by in the apartment complex. But when we were dating, if I occasionally asked him to help me in the kitchen, he'd be reluctant and always intentionally mess things up so I wouldn't ask him again. No thanks, right now, I only want to eat food made by the person I love. With that, I turned around and happily ran towards Julian. However, just as my happiness was truly beginning, an unexpected incident nearly destroyed it all. That night, as I was getting out of the car and about to go to Julian's place, four masked attackers suddenly rushed out of the bushes. One of them was holding a handkerchief and immediately tried to cover my mouth. The other three tried to restrain me. Just from being touched once, I smelled the anesthetic on the handkerchief. This was clearly premeditated. Although I'm very good at boxing, these four also had some skills. Plus, with the significant disparity in strength between men and women, I quickly found myself at a disadvantage. My phone in my bag kept ringing, but I couldn't answer. Just as I was about to be overwhelmed, Julian rushed over, bringing several security guards with him. The situation instantly turned around, and with our combined efforts, all four attackers were caught. Upon questioning, we learned that Chloe had hired them. Their mission was to repeatedly assault me and take nude photos and a short video of me. At the police station, Chloe, who had been arrested, pointed at me and hysterically yelled, "You bitch, don't look at me with such pitiful eyes. Don't think I don't know, you and Ryan are two of a kind. You pretend to sympathize with me, but in reality, you both look down on me for being tainted. I knew she had never truly recovered from that childhood incident. I never looked at you that way. It's you who despise yourself, which is why you think everyone else looks down on you. However, I am starting to despise you now, because your heart has become tainted. Don't act so high and mighty. Why should I have gone through that? You're the one who should be tainted, you." She was clearly impervious to reason, so I didn't say anything more. After I finished giving our statements and were leaving the police station, Ryan also arrived. He began to examine me from head to toe. "Sarah, it's so good you're okay. It's all my fault. I was too good to that woman before. That's why she hates you so much. If I had known she was so vicious earlier, I would never have saved her." As these words fell, so did my slap. Julian wasn't surprised at all. Ryan turned his head in disbelief, his face filled with grievance. "Chloe just can't come to terms with her past self. What does that have to do with you? Do you think all the women in the world revolve around you?" I used to think that his insistence on such absurd therapy for Chloe meant he couldn't see her ulterior motives, that he was being used. Only now did I realize he merely wanted to be a savior, to satisfy his hero complex. He always accused me of lacking empathy, unable to empathize with Chloe's psychological trauma. But in reality, he was the one who truly didn't understand Chloe's suffering. If he truly understood her, if he genuinely cared for her, how could she keep seeking casual partners? How could she self-destruct by harming me? When I pointed out these truths, Ryan froze completely. He was no longer stubborn, he didn't refute me, he just stood there as if turned to stone. Until I left, he didn't utter another word. Half a month later, Julian took me to meet Chairman, saying he wanted to marry me. I don't agree. Chairman, I'm not here to ask for your permission, I'm here to inform you. As for our wedding, whether you come or not is up to you, that's how it is. After saying this, before Chairman could respond further, Julian took my hand and we left. Our wedding was held by the beach, which I loved, and we only invited close family and friends. That day was sunny, with a gentle breeze, and everything went as planned, very smoothly. The only small surprise was that Ryan also came. He stood far away, beside the group of wedding guests, watching Julian and I exchange vows, exchange rings, and share a kiss amidst the cheers of the crowd. By the time the kiss ended, he had disappeared. After the wedding, the friend managing the wedding gifts gave me a gift, saying it was from Ryan. I opened it when I got back home. It was a pearl necklace I had admired when we went shopping together before. Back then, when I wanted to buy it, he laughed, saying my tanned complexion made wearing a pearl necklace tacky, like a country bumpkin. Even if I used my own money, he wouldn't let me, but now. Besides the necklace, there was also a card in the box. It read, "Sarah, actually, you look beautiful wearing a pearl necklace. I was just used to putting you down, I'm sorry. I hope you can always be yourself freely from now on." Julian also saw the necklace then and casually complimented it. "This necklace is very pretty, Sarah, you'll look amazing wearing it." I deliberately asked him with a smile, "My ex-boyfriend sent it, do you mind?" He came over and gently hugged me from behind, his voice lazy. "I know where your heart is, what does a necklace matter?" I couldn't help but smile, turned around, and stood on my tiptoes to give him a passionate kiss. At that moment, the string of pearls in the box shone with a lustrous glow. However, it would never shine as brightly as a heart filled with true love. Thanks for watching today's story. If you liked this video, please like and share with friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.